So I created a video 2 months ago entitled Rust Console How to Ban Zen Players, the way to ban cheating. Now of course we have the devices where you're able to play mouse and keyboard, which is cheating, not a preference for anyone that thinks it's a preference. And then we have Zen, which is basically a device that holds scripts for specific games, one being Rust Console, where it basically does the recoil for you. It's anti-recoil. And the reason why I'm bringing this topic back up is because this video got 2,100 views. Now, with I guess more of the community and established viewer base for my channel that I have now, as well as knowing that people from D11 are watching my content and videos covering the game, this is something I want to make and want them to listen carefully and watch carefully if they are able to pull this off, or just have an idea of how to combat the cheating problem that we have on this game. Also, for anyone that is having problems with the game Rust Console, whether it's to do with the video topic that I'm talking about or if it's completely irrelevant, if you have any glitches or bugs that you want to be fixed within the game, be sure to leave a comment, as Pedro has said to me that he's watched my videos, especially on the feedback on the updates to do with Rust Console. Cheating is by far the biggest problem that Rust Console has, and you'll get a lot of people that will be crying saying get better, etc, etc. There are so many excuses and copes to do with cheating on this game. That's because a lot of the player base, in my opinion more than 50% of the player base, have switched to such devices, whether they brag about it or they use it and they're still not that good with it. Now the problem that community servers have faced, including my own, is that when we try to ban such cheaters, they either go on alt accounts or your pop completely dies. There's a lot of community servers that I've seen out there that are really well run, but not many people play them. That is because the people that do play them are the ones that get banned, that are cheating, when they just want a legit only server. And another reason is you can't 100% come to the conclusion someone is cheating via just looking at their gameplay, because you have the jitter lag, which I covered on my TikTok, and as well the all-round lag that you get when spectating someone, and the recoil doesn't show to what it actually is to the player when they're shooting the weapon. So with this, you then have to revert to TikTok or any other social media platforms that this player is posting their clips on to gain a better and more accurate understanding of whether this player is cheating or not, and then come to the conclusion whether you want to ban them for X amount of time. Now, it's a lot easier to spot a cheater on PC when it comes to community servers. There's so many examples out there of people getting caught out, and I'll play some in the background for you.
Your AK, well, you're purposely moving your mouse around to fake the AK spray there.
I'm not faking nothing. Like what? You're laughing and it's kind of funny.
And this is how I believe we can combat Zen players specifically, as with Zen players it's more to do with how they're moving and the gameplay. You can't really tell by the recoil. Normally the recoil is pinpoint because mouse and keyboard is easier to play on Rust Console. However, it's the gameplay that, you know, they're offering you to watch when they're playing themselves, because normally their sensitivity is a lot higher than a controller's, so they're going to be moving around a lot faster. Getting to the point, I don't think D11 are doing enough regards to banning cheaters, and whatever update they will bring, there'll still be a lot of comments surrounding the topic of this game is still going to die because of the amount of cheaters that are playing on it. And whether it's going to die because of the player base just losing its love for the game, or it's just going to die in terms of having morals and basically not being a legit game anymore, and the large amount of the community just cheating. So what I found is that when you're playing on PC and you're on the aim training, learning the recoil pattern, what PC offers on Rust is the weapon spray itself. So you can see side-by-side comparison of how good your spray is compared to what the spray is, and how accurate and how much better you're getting when it comes to controlling the recoil. Here is where I think Rust Console and D11 specifically can benefit when it comes to banning cheaters, is that you have this grid on your screen. So you have the HUD menu when it comes to being an admin or a mod on a Rust Console community server. You have the menu to play with when it comes to viewing the player in third or first person. Whatever gun they're holding, it will come up, whether it's in the top left or the top right of your screen, the weapon's recoil pattern. For example, a player you're spectating has had multiple users report this player for cheating, for being Zen, for example. Now, one of the things when I was being an admin on OB server is that we got one of us to go on the top of dome shooting down at this player, so this player could then turn around and shoot back to see what his spray was like. Sure enough, no doubt in my mind, the spray was Zen. It was an MP5 clip. However, what would be great is in this scenario, let's say with an MP5, you have the weapon's recoil on the top right of your screen, and then when the player shoots their MP5, it then shows side by side or on top of each other comparison of how their spray differs from the actual spray that D11 have created for the weapon. And if multiple times, they have the exact same spray. You cannot do that on a legit controller. Sure, maybe once or twice, but it depends on the actual scenario itself. You're not going to have the same recoil standing still. You're not going to have the same recoil standing still as if you were strafing. You wouldn't have the same recoil if you're going up against 3 players as opposed to a 1v1. There's so many factors that go into whether you're going to have a good spray or a bad spray. You could just generally be playing shit that particular day, but any other day you're usually good. That is the reason why Rust, when people played legit more often than cheating, was at its best, because it was inconsistent. And the players that were the best at the game were more consistent than everybody else. But now with these devices, you're consistent even if you're a shit player. So if such player is cheating and they have the exact same recoil that it shows on their screen, so you have the weapons recoil and their recoil, and multiple times in different scenarios, they have the exact same recoil down to the bullet, then yeah, it would be so much easier to ban players. And look, if we're going to get to the point to where this game is going to be like PC, something like this needs to happen. Whether it's not even for cheating, whether it's, you know, you just implement it because you want players to get better, because at the end of the day, you should really be aiding the legit players, which they have done, D11, when it comes to the crosshair. That was a good addition, especially if you're going to hip fire, because hip firing is so much easier now. But this would help a lot of admins and would help D11 themselves when it comes to banning cheaters if someone is making a report on a player. I've been playing legit for God knows how long, and my spray can be insane one day and just bad the next. But when it's good, I get people telling me I'm a cheater, and then when it's bad, I get people saying you are utter shit. But the people that are consistently having the same exact spray and playing off, they're legit so they don't get banned. This, in my opinion, would be the answer to ban Zen players. Zim is another issue, and that can be addressed however which way they see fit. However, Zen, this is something that could really solve the problem for cheating. Now, I already know what you guys are going to say about this. You're going to come at me with the point of, yeah, but you can change the settings to make a Zen look legit. But that's not why people buy a Zen. They buy a Zen so they don't have to do the tricky and hard graft work of learning the recoil. They do it so they can just hop on whenever they can, and basically being kids, and whether they have an ego about it or they just want to play and just get loot is up to them. But you do not buy a Zen, which isn't cheap by the way, to then just configure the settings and make it look legit so you have to control the weapon. It's just too much hassle at that point. They just want to buy the device so they have no recoil, not to make it seem like they're legit. But let's say on the contrary that it does make Zen players configure their settings to make it look legit, they're still having to control it a little bit, albeit a little bit, but they obviously must have been that bad in the first place to get this device. So it kind of evens out the playing field, if you get where I'm coming from. They still have to control something, which is instead better than controlling nothing, which is what they're doing right now. What's your guys' opinions on this? I know I've made a video quite recent, 2 months ago, being basically the same thing, but I feel like I have a lot more of an audience to reach with this message, especially to D11 themselves. This, in my opinion, is one way to stop cheating, specifically the Cronus Zen device. Whether they have to remap their scripting so that they have a different spray each time, it doesn't matter, because it's still an inconvenience to that player. They just want no recoil. That's literally what it's made for. And if they don't have no recoil, then it's pointless. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching if you've gotten to this point. All the links you can find me at are in the description, whether it be Twitter or TikTok, as well as join up the Discord if you want to talk to me. However, I'm pretty much active on all the social media platforms that I have. Subscribe if you are new around here. We are nearly at 3,000 subscribers, and I can't really thank you enough for the support you've been giving me. I've got some big projects coming up, one including the podcast or short discussion, which I know you guys are going to like. You just got to bear with me. It's going to be great. Leave a like on the video. Leave a comment down below. Let's start a discussion on this and try and get it out there as much as possible for anyone that is remaining to be legit on this game. Let's get it to Pedro Silva, D11, anyone that cares for this game to still be legit, as we're kind of straying away from being legit as days go on, as weeks go by. So if I have a platform to do something like this, I'm going to try to do it as much as I can with the power that I have. Like always, I'll see you in the next one.